she digs me on the low. Nimeiva but I prefer raw. She chose me, I'm the man with the money bag. The serious, vile mina let you funny bag. Though she king size, she get the queen ass. Anainisha vile what's up, you kiss ass. Signature me the boss. She get out kama mbao ka flows. Na baby vile unakaa, kuna vile inafaa. You mean the king na she heels one. Mapenzi imejama dance and twist. So let's ride, na tukitam tuna kiss. Kila bump tuna hit, tuna fix. Hakuna shortcut, ni piece by piece. Signature.
Mari?
Yeah.
How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling good.
Natafuta hizi nini zako hapo hivi kwa kuhit marekod. Marekod sinaonekana vizuri, upa sinaonekana vizuri.
Sasa sinaonekaneko.
Unajua upaya huyu jamaa tangu alete fiti watu wezi fanya vitu za upuzi.
Tuwezi fanyeko fituko.
Vitu finotinga. Vitu finotinga. Brother nimeshinda kufanya intro ya bwana. This is our independence. I think we depend too much. Okay. We can do the buyaka thing. Tuanze.
Okay, sawa.
Take 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, Mari, niaje.
Yeah, I'm good, Maze. How's your week been?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, today Mambo is not here.
Man, yeah.
I keep calling him Mambo, I don't know why. He insists his name is Bubble. Bubble Vein.
Yeah.
You know, hizi pics zako hapa ni crazy. Mse, ulikuwa unasema usikiki. Kwani unataka coveran recording? Mari the Great. Yeah. For this week, what I did for this week, now that Duke is not here to ask me.
Yeah. You should probably start by saying buyaka.
Oh, buyaka. He's not registered that thing to himself, so maybe you can go ahead and use
Pirate.
it. So this week we've got a couple of offers thanks to Great Lens. People are seeing what we're doing.
Yeah, big up Great Lens, by the way.
Big up Great Lens.
Yeah.
Tukishika hiyo mouse ndio please protect our screen. So we got someone to come and try find out what you're doing with the podcast, and I thought it was a good opportunity because Chuk is not here.
Yeah.
And we had prepared for the pod anyway.
Yeah.
I thought why not? Let's talk about the things that we're trying to do with the pod and how to go about establishing a brand and probably building the same. Paka chini, paka juu, paka mwanzo. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing this week. It's taken up a lot of my time. Talking about the infrastructure, the industry complex ya institutions zetu hapa vile ziko.
Yeah.
Hasa labda wewe ndio ulikuwa unafanya this week. No vocal coaching by the way. And I insist.
Maze, unitaki nifanye vocal coaching.
Wewe unaweza fanya vocal coaching
lakini siongelee hapa.
Kwani hakuna kitu kingine unafanyanga? Hakuna kitu kingine unafanyanga.
Wait, let me see this week there was something let me see, trying to remember.
I think upunguze dose. The mind is escaping you now.
Getting older than I
by the
I should be.
Tunakunywa Baraka chai.
Are we placing them?
I hope so. I hope we are. I hope we are taking note because someone should tag them.
Yeah, we should tag.
I'm trying to say so you should be thinking about what you did the previous week, man.
Go on. I'm loading.
You're loading.
I'm loading, yeah.
You're loading.
Yeah.
So, you should tell us, what did you do last week, Mari?
Should I talk about the articles?
Oh, go on,
yeah,
my friend, go
I've
on.
also been working on the articles as usual.
Mm-hmm.
There's something we've been doing with an online concert we've been preparing for with Made in Kibera guys. So we've been doing rehearsals. Should be coming out soon. Yeah, it's called Sheena Live.
Sheena Live.
Yeah.
What's the spelling of that?
Shina, like shine, but instead of E at the end, there's an A. Shina.
Could it be pronounced the same as China?
Yeah.
Shina. Anyway,
We would have to consult them for the pronunciation. Yeah, but I think that's one of the things we've been working on over the week, which is interesting, something to look forward to. Yeah, it's a follow-up for a festival they've done like a few years back. So it's called Shina Fest. They've had
is it local? Is it a local thing?
Yeah, it's a local thing organized by the Made in Kibera should I say production or team or organization. And they've done two editions so far. So now I think this will be the online edition. Yeah.
Nimenotice kitu, acha tusaidie wandu balai. Hii kitu watu waone vizuri bwana. Waonekane vizuri. Tuweke great lens waonekane. Today I'm thinking in the absence of Juke. We just go on where we talk about the building of instruction.
Juke,
what are you doing? What are you doing in terms of brands? What are you doing? Leo mimi ndo naku interview bana. Lazima ikanika interview. Naku interview. Chano I say, how long have you had your dreadlocks for? What are you doing for business?
Oh, by the way, now that you brought it up, maybe something I'm always working on, but behind the scenes, but maybe I've never talked about it, is my brand, my artist brand, Mari. I'm always actively working on Mari. So maybe I don't mention it in the what I'm doing within the week. Because it's something that's actively going on. But it's one of the things I think I should say I'm always doing within the week. Pushing the brand, making posts for the brand. Yeah, and I think that's also an interesting maybe segue to something we could talk about today.
Yeah, definitely.
Like brands and building brands.
True. Yeah. Speaking of which, we had an interesting conversation last week with one of the guys we're working with in terms for the visuals. Thanks to Great Lens again. Wachiki wanachika wanauliza, hey, by the way, I think we can do something with the visuals and whatnot. They hear my beats and they're like, yo, your beats are sick. Sasa unapangaje nazo? What do you want to do with them? Nikutafuta tu msanii, and then you sign some couple of documents, and then you try to push it. But then you realize, ile time mwenye unaweza kuintroduce vitu kama hizo sijui professionalism, people become suspicious. They take up a negative approach to the whole thing. And they think like you're frustrating the process. Ama watakuibia. Unaona?
I think it's an issue I've also noticed in the industry, and maybe to encompass the whole entertainment industry in Kenya locally. We've had an issue.
And maybe we should talk about how the podcast came to be. And the what we're trying to do with it. First of all, sijui kama ume-experience hii kitu. You're doing a job, but you don't know what the job is. And then you're never getting paid for it. You get what I mean? You get to do a lot of things, but you don't even yourself, you don't know what it is, the job description, you don't know. And if you're asked how much is it, you don't know. And people are making money off it. People actually who are doing less than you're doing, or not even bothered with it at all, are getting paid. So it bothers me kwa sababu labda si tunatafuta kazi na watu wanatafuta do. I think those two things are different. Si tunafanya kazi, watu wanatafuta do. So maybe
nika history ya elections, kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee.
I think it's the same approach. Ni maana tunapata COVID millionaires nini.
Yeah.
Sasa baadaye umesema wewe nika notice COVID millionaires. Juke is not here to be asking, yo, what's this COVID millionaires thing about? Okay.
Because the other day tulitaja COVID millionaires na alikuwa na scapegoat.
Kuna mmoja alikuwa na hepe anaondokea hiyo story.
Pengine that's where it's caught up.
Leo he says it's something very important. Labda DCI wanamtafuta. He can't come out, like yo man, I can't come. I honestly can't come.
Na hapa ataonekana mpaka screen uso inaonekana
bana. Wanataka maneno tena bandu anyway acha tuseme hizo. So yeah, I'm thinking we should tell people more about what you're trying to achieve, what we are managing, what you're dealing with, because we're all humans. I think it's best if we share the experiences. So it will be more relatable. You want to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, maybe I'll start with the pod. You asked a good question. I don't know whether we've ever answered this on any of the episodes, but I think it's maybe something we should tell our listeners. Why we started the pod. I think maybe to brush over it. Then I'll go deeper.
Go for it, Rasta. Yeah. Go for it.
I go for it.
Yes.
I think we started because we had a lot of things that we were going through in the industry, and a lot of things that we were noting in the industry that maybe are not being done or could be done better, and thought to address them.
Yeah.
And maybe to dig a bit deeper, I think to some extent there were frustrations that we were facing, and some things that maybe were not being done or nobody was doing, and maybe we thought, well, either someone should get to do it or we should do it. Yeah, and I also think part of why we started is also to share our journeys and share our experiences, which is something I think we did not have someone to share with our journey, share their journey with us when we were starting out, right?
True.
Yeah, because and we started out raw and just got in. And got in the industry, learned on the way, learned on the move.
We learned on the job. Learned on the job, man. Which reminds me, I've been following up with Provoke.
Yeah.
Because Provoke taught me basically, my experiences were mostly based on Provoke's interaction, me and Provoke.
Yeah.
Even when I was making the beat.
Yeah.
He's the one who told me, yo, achana na fruity. Ata tumia reason basi. I didn't have the MacBook at the time. So he was like, usitumie fruity, achana fruity.
Fruity Loops.
Achana Fruity Loops. Chukua reason. So I got really good with reason.
Yeah,
until I got
remember,
until I got the MacBook, and then I went to Logic because I was looking at Provoke and do his thing on the Logic, and they were like, what? Maze, scale your sound vile ni no. Hey, I wanted that all the time. I wanted that. So during that time, there were times that kwa studio, umepelekea Provoke 1,000 2-3, Actually, he never charged me for the sessions. Those were like, I was paying homage, sort of.
Za match.
Yeah, za match. Most of the time, za match. Because unajua, mkono mtupu haurambwi. No one will give you audience, man.
Yeah.
At all. Nobody. Lazima hata ununue. Anyway, so when he was doing his thing, is when I was learning, and then I learned that there was a lot of work off the studio. Because I'd see him try to do graphics, he'd be trying to organize videos, photo shoots, and then, because you see, this is not a conversation that you can go and ask someone, hey, by the way, organizing picha pia. Designing nini pia. Unafanyanga nini pia. You know, it's not something you can go and ask. So for me, for that, when I realized there's so much into the music like that, I decided to focus on myself. And that's how I started distancing myself from all of what other people are doing. Because now you learn, no one is really telling you what's going on, but there's so much going on. So I started digging into it myself. Nikajipata kwa production, because I stopped being an artist. Because as an artist, I didn't know how to approach anything. So again, we're talking about...
I remember you doing hooks for akina Cannibal.
Bana! Hasa nikiambia watu wanafikiria ni story.
The rumors. But was any of that content released?
Most of it was. But I think again, you know, because I realized it's invested in terms of both time and into the project. For example, they did work. There's a song they did with Shaman. That was my favorite song. The whole time I was there. It was a dope song. I don't know what Provoke would put in his speakers, man, because those things will be banging. Uko pale ndani. Hizo vitu zinaguruma. Yani, you feel like kingdom come. The kingdom has come. Uko pale ndani. That was a very nice song. It was never released, man. It was never released. There's a song we did with Nessa. Nessa, the girl who could sing, and then she... It was a really nice song. I was so nervous. Provoke was telling me, why are you shaking? Mimi najaribu kumshow mazee mimi si mbangi hizo design. Basi unasikia iko sawa. Weka record. Man, no.
You even did a video for it.
No, the video we did was for this girl who was from Tusker Project Fame. What was her name?
Wendy.
Wendy Kimani.
Ruma.
I was playing the blind guy in the video with the guitar. You know what I mean? And say, sometimes I don't want the best looking guys in the videos. It's not about the best looking guy. Because I don't think they took me because of my looks. I might think it's the looks.
You don't want me to answer that question.
Come on, it's an honest question. I think it deserves an honest answer. Was it the looks? Yes, no. Looks? Yes? I think we should go with yes. We assume it from the silence. Yes.
It is good to believe in yourself.
You've not answered the question, my friend. I don't know what question you're answering.
Man. So, you think you qualify for a model?
I model? Model. I was in the video. Which video have you been?
I've been in video.
Which one?
Fanya Kweli's Hustler.
Scared Gina. Hustler. We'll work on video Hustler. Hey,
say. Title.
No.
Man.
I'm thinking you. Why yako? Obviously, that can't be for the looks. Okay, so we are asking for relevant examples. Have you been in a music video other than Hustler? Because that one doesn't fit the criteria.
See, other than my own, of course.
Oh, how can you miss your own music video? Hey, Rasta. But there I don't. I'm planning on doing that too. Maybe unaweza nichanua on how to go about it.
Yeah, we'll discuss that kind of.
I'm saying we've done like 19 minutes. We need to get to the topic, bro.
What?
We've done like 15 minutes. Yeah. We're having too much fun.
Never ending.
It was such a story. It was
yeah, I think maybe to segue into our thing, like I think what we've what they call it paying our dues or paying dues. Like I remember seeing a video of one of T-Pain's videos for long ago. I think even before he had dreads or like when he was just starting off.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Kevin Hart appear in one of those videos. that was before anyone knew him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, you could say he was just making an appearance,
Mm-hmm.
but how I read it is he was planning his way,
come up.
Yeah, his way into the industry.
Yeah.
So people see the spotlight and the big Kevin Hart,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't see the road.
The background work
Yeah.
that they did.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think maybe we're talking about building brands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that background work goes into building brands, and many artists may not appreciate it, but I think it's something every artist should go through.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe to even delve deeper into it, I've noted that sometimes there are guys who come into the industry and just break through and go big. And watching a lot of those guys, I've also realized even those guys who just come in and break through have to go through that process.
Somehow.
Yeah. Like what we're saying, learning on the job. Like someone breaks through into the industry and learns how the industry works while they're doing it. And maybe I won't go too much into detail about how those strategies and approaches are done. But I think they talk about trusting the process. I think that is what we're trying to bring out here. Like a brand is not made overnight. And let me rephrase: a brand that is meant to last long cannot be built overnight. There has to be the process and the steps. And at whatever stage you go through them, you have to go through them.
You have to go through them. True.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which,
yeah,
my personal experience has been that the guys who are ahead of it are very hesitant to like disclose some details to the up and coming people. But that's not 100% true. Because I have an experience of where I was too eager to share my knowledge with someone.
Yeah.
And the effect of it was that you're too imposing. You look at the other person and you realize they're not paying attention to what it is.
Yeah.
That is expected. You know, kama mzae, when sometimes I speak to my dad and he says he can make a statement and it bothers me for so long. Like he would say, for example, hizi vitu zenye unafanyanga zoleta pesa kweli, and you know, and then you're thinking like azijaleta bado but zitaleta. Because you know that's a stereotype for the artist. Msanii. Well, you know, you sound like you're very confused and you're lost and you don't know what you're doing, but true to the word, that shit does not pay. Right, like right now, it's not paying, you know, like it should, you know, because there are people who are making money out of it. So I learned that it's because we don't really understand the nitty-gritties. For example, people complain that royalties ni kidogo, yet they're not registered in the respective places where people are getting paid. Are you registered with them, Sasuke, for example? Do you have a distributor who can actually collect when your music is being distributed online? Juicy, you shared with me a link. I didn't know that the music is on TikTok. I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah, you know. So I'm thinking like, now how does someone collect from TikTok? And then I realized they have a distributor. So I looked up at the account and I'm like, so they pay 0.000 for the stream. Man, that's very little money, you know. But then I understood why is that little. You see, before the internet, the recording labels, the big ones, they were the ones who were in charge of the content producers, right? Which are the artists and whatnot. And they were able to collect from every point. Right? bila msanii kujua na bila msanii kukua. Alright?
Yeah.
So hao ndo wana collect, wanakugawia.
Yeah.
So when the internet came and now the accounts were in the artist's name, you see, like this guy can actually access and see what's going on.
Yeah.
What did they do? They bought into the distribution companies.
Yeah.
Right? So they're still the ones when you wanagawia msanii. Because now they've just nibbed you. They're ahead of it. Either way, they've placed themselves mbele yako kama msanii. So people say, oh, independent artists are making it. Yeah, they're making it because they're actually registered and they're following up on those things. That's why they're able to see some money coming in. But the big companies, what they did is they went in and bought into the companies that are doing the distro online.
Yeah.
Kama iTunes. By the time iTunes is paying an artist, they've reduced the value of your content, of your music. Like to listen to Mari's album, I pay 0. what? 0 point something dollars. Instead of buying the album for $5, I'm paying 0.0. You get?
Yeah. Though I think maybe it's more informed by the industry. For example, when, let's say, back in the day before the online advent and things going, digital.
Yeah, kabisa.
Musicians would make money, let's say, from album sales. There's royalties, but that's maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But let's take, for example, from album sales.
Yeah.
Now, for album sales to make money, they'd have to get them to stores, music stores.
Yeah.
And now, take into account the costs of getting, first of all, of production. Because now, let's say you need to make several copies.
Yeah.
So you need to go print
each one of them.
Which is a cost. For each one is a cost. So the number of copies you make, depending on where you're taking them, then there is it will have a cost. Then there is the transport to get them there. So by the time the
album arrives at the store,
there's a lot of expenses which have to be taken into account when pricing the album.
Yeah.
So the album would be given a price based on that. Now, with the online advent, some of those costs were cut off. And like, for example, if let's say you're buying an album on iTunes or Boomplay or somewhere, you buy a copy, but remember that everyone buys a copy, but everyone there's no extra expense in making someone else's copy. It's just one copy that is sort of automatically being replicated. So meaning the production cost
has been significantly reduced.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if weighing it, you could say there's probably more profit. It's debatable, but you could, looking at it from that perspective, it's you could consider it as it's a change in the industry that informed the pricing.
Okay.
I think. And now I think also, now that we're talking about the structures that work behind the scenes, I think a lot of artists or even industry players need to understand what's happening behind the scenes. But then again, there's a question of, I'm trying to segue into something you mentioned about revealing what's happening behind the scenes. There's, I think there's like two angles to look at it. There's revealing business secrets as opposed to giving knowledge on how things work. So there's the I think a lot of industry players, from what I've noticed, a lot of industry players struggle with finding the fine line between
the two.
Yeah. So, like, for example, just a simple example, you mentioned distributing. And nowadays, a lot of independent artists are taking that route of distributing their own music.
Yeah.
Which is, in the old school sense, is the role of a label.
Yeah.
So now, labels at one point, or even to now, used to keep the details of that to themselves, as business secrets.
Yeah.
And now the artists will just come in, record, and leave the rest to the label. But now artists, with the advent of knowledge and being widespread, there's more knowledge, access to knowledge, easy access. You can Google something and find it. And things like distribution, artists are getting to do distribution on their own. Things like artists, even maybe to go even to the very basics, there's some artists who get to do their own artwork, like go specifically or particularly learn how to make designs so that they can do their own artwork, which essentially, if you think about it like strictly, would be the role of the record label. So I think there's a lot of knowledge that's being processed, and a lot of adjusting to the times that is happening. And for an artist to make sense in this time, they need to figure out how much they want to get into and how much they need to find out. How much can they do on their own? Where do they need support? That kind of thing.
Yes. No. Speaking of that again,
and maybe just to mention, I also think the knowledge, the way knowledge is becoming widespread is somehow like the way, say, government secrets are revealed after. Yeah, I think the rule also applies in several businesses and even in the entertainment industry. Like, there are some secrets which, after some time, just
spill out.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of secrets and all those things, I'm thinking knowledge for a very long time, knowledge was categorized as secret. Because there was a time not everyone could read and write. That was exclusive to some people.
Yeah.
And then it came, for example, there's a time it was illegal to have the Bible, it was illegal to preach the Bible, and then it was illegal to have books.
Like, there was a time when only the priests and clergy could
are the ones who could
read the Bible and read the Bible.
Yeah, only them could.
Yeah.
Because that time it was considered to be sacred knowledge. Now the knowledge, you see, if you have, they say knowledge is power. You see, I subscribe to the school of thought that if people know, then they're empowered, and it's very difficult for you to take advantage of someone who's empowered, right? And so if you're talking about brand building, you need to understand the basics so you can interact with the good practices. You don't have to do it, but it's good practice. So for example, if you're thinking of being an artist, if you're an artist, you need to understand that it's a brand. If you conceive it as a brand, then you understand you need to be registered. You're registered with what? Then when you're registered, you need to start now giving a profile of your company. Like, how would you be identified as a company? And that's why I think in the last episode we were talking about the brand associations. So if you're advertising, for example, Smirnoff, or you're advertising Safaricom, and Safaricom believe in so much, which you don't believe in as a brand, then how do you mitigate, or how do you get along with that? And for example, we keep talking about placement. So it becomes possible for placement to happen if you understand what your brand is. Now, so with that said, registration is not something that happens in the brain. You need to be registered with the government so that it becomes official. And one way of doing that is having either a business name or a company. I understand you have a number of businesses yourself. Kijana umejipanga hii corona lakini jibu ulipata stimulus. Yes, siwezi sahau. I can never forget. Mari,
stimulus umelilia sana.
I can never forget.
Serikali tunaomba
save mandem.
I wish ingekuwa that much
paka ulikata kuongelea. You know COVID-19 millionaires.
Sasa ningekuwa holiday.
Asi wamefunga mipaka. Hata lifestyle umekataa kubadilisha. Utaenda holiday aje kijana? Ama ulikuwa expect serikali kuchange lifestyle? No. So anyway, so with the registration, there's formalities with the registrations. You need to understand if your business needs permits, if how do you make your brand visible, for example? That's another thing. We're talking about imagery and kamsani. It becomes, the best part about being a producer, for example, for me, is the ability to invent yourself every day. Every day is a new. I wake up in the morning and I feel like reggae, I'll be reggae for the day. It will be Wagwan.
Nobody can stop.
Nobody can stop it. There you go. And then the next day I feel a little bit mellow, R&B, and I'm talking about all this love going around. And then the other time is 50 Cent kind of stuff, gangster, nataka kupiga watu makofi. Kuna jamaa alikuwa ananiambia hataka kunipiga makofi. Kabla tuanze podcast, kwa sababu alikuwa anaogopa naweza muanika. I would say his name though. The threats were well received.
Kupiga kofi na itokee slow mo.
Daliza ataweka slow mo yake paka effects of how not to address Mr. Mr. Slaps.
Mr. Slaps.
Mr. Cafe. Kafir. Anyway, that aside. So if you miss the mark, I think, when you're talking about brand establishment and brand building and whatnot, all those things, it goes, there's nothing that Safaricom is doing that any person who assumes himself as a brand should not be doing. Yeah, because if they're online, you need to have your social medias, right?
Yeah.
They need to be alive. You see, Squeezy, they're very keen. If you're going to say something negative about the business, they'll even DM you and tell you, hey, hii maneno tusol tu kuinje, acha kuanika, usianike, usiharibu. Safaricom, yeah. They would inbox you and tell you have that problem, when you tweet them, when you do something, they address it. They talk about it online, It's now online is where to be. It's like people interacting online. It's a different. Last time you told me about this virtual game that you build yourself as an avatar and you can actually marry.
It's like there's a lot of they call it, I don't know whether they call it reality.
Virtual reality.
Yeah, sort of virtual reality games that people like you could build a whole life in there. I don't want to advertise them because they're not paying us.
Okay. Man, we've been saving for a long time. Save Mandem.
Save Mandem.
Man, you can use lunch.
Yeah. I would not refuse. I would not refuse lunch.
Allah, are we being attacked? Are we safe?
Our technical team
has left the building. But can you believe it? We're already into 38 minutes in.
Yo, already.
Yeah, 38 minutes in, and I feel like we've not covered enough. We need to go a little bit more. But I'm thinking probably we need to reduce it in writing. Maybe we should introduce another ambit of this podcast, since you're doing articles and we have so much information. I think some people don't have the time to listen in. Maybe we should do write-up. What do you think?
I think it's something we could explore. I think there's so many the information. I think the information should I say base. There's so much to learn, so much to explore, and a pod we try to give as much as we can and also learn as much as we can.
This learning
But
process
it's
has
endless.
never completed. You
Yeah,
can't complete it.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's for artists to, I think, and industry players in general, I think it's maybe I'd put it as a challenge for industry players. Like, the knowledge base is so big and so wide, and there's so much we can learn and so much we can do as an industry to uplift ourselves. Now, how much time and effort we put into that knowledge, I think maybe will inform how much we grow as an industry. You mentioned something about the disparity between work and pay, and I think knowledge is one of those things that or aspects of any profession that may not pay you directly, but is worthwhile investing in. Like, you can monetize.
How do you mean?
Like,
What are you saying?
Like, you cannot monetize your knowledge directly. You have to use it to implement something so that you can monetize it. But if you don't have that knowledge, then you won't be able to implement, right? So I think there's a lot of should I say, I think I'm addressing a bigger debate about, say, the difference between independent and signed artists. And I think whichever route an artist chooses to take, knowledge is a plus, right?
Yeah, true.
If you have the knowledge, you can make an informed decision about the route you take.
Yeah.
And make calculated moves.
So my question then is, Mary, you know, it's the same way tunasikianga hizi misemo, asisikia la mguu vunjika, asisikia la mkuu vunjika guu, mwenda cheo na whatever that, you know, poteza mila, urumarejoni ngamani, you know, some fancy things.
But aerial, tezi na omo, aerial.
Bana, your jokes sometimes. Those things you get when you experience something, when you realize, like, oh, that is what it means. But I've had statements being made like, the younger generation is too eager, the younger generation is too quick, so entitled, so full of themselves. What they're so aggressive. They lack experience and knowledge, and ideally, if I can speak for myself or for the people like me, I think the learning curve is what takes the toll. For example, I'm self-taught producer. I have never gone to a class. I have never been to coaching. The closest to a class I came was Provoke and Dr. Spot and Jesse. So I have a couple of people who are willing to like tell me, oh, by the way, hii unafanyanga hivi usifanye hivyo. Hii unafanyanga nini usifanye hivyo. And you see, it's I've put myself through it. It's been over 10 years now. Doing it. 10 years. Until now I feel like I can actually sit down and do it and present like, yeah, this is what I've done. Napatia, you know, the guys who are actually doing it, like I can tell them this is what I've done. And all that is the learning curve. Other things I've taught myself, of course, and then other than the low thing. So if you look at it generally, I think self-education, other than what we go to school for the papers for, goes a long way. So in terms of brand building, because you need to interact with, for example, how do you manage outsourced services? How do you manage your everyday activities? Because even as artists we slack. Even in the office somewhere you slack. Because it's not that you're not keeping up with it, but there's too much going on.
Yeah, and I think complement what you're saying. We're living in a time when there's the knowledge. I think there's an overload of knowledge.
Yeah.
And if you look at even, for example, and a simple example like social media. Right now, the social media came up like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
15 if you go too far. But their careers, which are building off social media, and their careers are right now seemingly endless. For a simple example of Aziad, who came up from being a
belly dancer, an online belly dancer. But
yeah.
In all honesty,
yeah,
that girl does a good job.
Yeah, she does. Like, keeping that straight face while moving the rest of the body. Hey,
what's wrong with that? But you can't move like that. You can't. Is it?
Yo, it needs work. Like, and
tell me about it.
Maybe
where were you rehearsing these things, trying to find out?
Yo, I've been thinking about choreography, PI, like,
No shit.
Yeah, we should discuss that at some point.
At the choreography.
Yeah.
What ideas are you working with? I'm curious, man. I'm curious.
We'll discuss this after the pod.
I need to see this.
These are business secrets now. We can't anika them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I accept.
But now, interesting thing, the angle I was taking to that was she used a social media platform to gain fame and relate it to what she's doing. And like, for example, let me call her for the sake of this explanation, video vixen. But you see, a video vixen in the original sense would appear in
the respective video.
Yeah. But she wasn't in the video. She did it after on a separate platform. And you see, and she's built a career off of that. There's other careers like socialites which have come up or become pronounced because of social media. There's there's experts in social media management. There's digital, so many other careers which were never, no one could have ever thought of before the online advent, like things going online. And a lot of the knowledge that is here right now, I think has changed. The knowledge has changed a lot of the circumstances. So there's careers right now that don't have courses for you to go to school for, but there are people making money off it.
True.
And living off that. So I think there's maybe I don't want to make it sound like this generation is so unique, but there is that uniqueness in that aspect.
Yeah.
That we need to appreciate as our generation and as the different generations need to appreciate and embrace and adjust to. Like now, how we're living in a time when information is out there and you can seek it out and empower yourself with it. Yeah. As opposed to a time when information was stored in books and you had to be taught the language of those books to be able to access that information.
True.
So I think it's also a question of the circumstances being different and people adjusting to them, and that cuts across different industries. The entertainment industry also being part of the affected wave, so to speak.
Yeah. I think we've done a lot of discourse.
Yeah.
And we are like 15 minutes into it, and we want to save a lot of things for when Juke is around.
Yeah.
So I think we should call it Buyaka. And I think people should not forget to check out the sound bite. It's sound bite for this episode. Episode 3. Gatekeepers Musically Speaking.
Yeah.
Buyeka.
And to remember to subscribe.
Subscribe. People should subscribe, bana. Maybe we should cut this part ya kusubscribe uko mbele. Turudishe kwa mbele. Vile watu wanafaa kusubscribe and all that stuff. What are we going to do about subscription, by the way?
Yeah.
The subscription is coming up nice though. And we should appreciate the guys.
Shout out to all our listeners who've subscribed.
40 strong.
We appreciate
40 strong.
Yeah.
Tuendelee hivyo, man. And if you have anything you think we should improve on the podcast, don't be afraid. We don't take it personal.
Leave it down in the comment section below.
Ndo watuambie vile Mari's feet need to be oiled, you know.
Je, unataka kusema ati miguu zangu zimeparara?
That's not what I have said. That is not what I have said. If you think I should change my color from blue to orange, you know, I don't know if the sound engineer should change the compression he's using. Unajua, if it should talk to Lens Media. By the way, wameenda wapi kwa screen si waoni bana.
Ulikuwa nikumbushe.
Asa nilisahau.
Great lens.
What do they need to change? Maybe they need to get us better angles, you know, something like that. We need to hear from guys. What do they think? What to shoot na drone? Bana, ideas kama hizo zikam. I can say Mari's dreadlocks are not useless after all. Nywele ni akili. Nywele ni mali. Akili ni nywele. Kila mtu akona zake. Umeibia nani? Anyway, sawa. Hey guys, it's been real. It's been episode 3, Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast. Sure. Don't forget to subscribe, y'all. Check it out. And we out.